Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon, beta.
Good afternoon.
Better, beta. So you are Rishabh Trivedi
Yes.
and have done your LLM. Good. So you did it in continuation, I think.
Yes, sir. I am working also in continuation from graduation, sir.
So you are legal content creator with Career Launcher.
Sir, I had been working with them. But right now, sir, I am working as a lawyer in Supreme Court as well as in Delhi High Court.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Tell us one thing.
Yes, sir.
I have noticed here that you have written that you filed PIL for rehabilitation of refugees from Pakistan.
Yes, sir. We did that.
So you have studied in Karnataka.
Yes, sir.
You are a resident of UP.
Yes, sir.
So how come you reached there?
Sir, we were having internship in an organization known as PUCL in Jaipur.
Okay.
So at that point of time, I led a study group that certain Pakistan refugees were arriving there from Thar Express in Jodhpur. Then they're coming towards Jaipur, and they were living in a very dehumanized condition there. So there are many families, around 6 families, 26 individuals are there living in one single room.
Okay.
So we thought they are having the loss of livelihood there. They were not living in proper shelter, and even the similar lot who were arrived earlier at the same point of time, they were given the citizenship by Ministry of Home Affairs, but these were discriminated against. So in the PIL, after writing lots and lots of letter to the concerned department, then we filed the PIL in the Jodhpur High Court. So to get some relief, if not the citizenship, because citizenship is a sovereign right of a country, at least livelihood, certain kind of economic avenues they can have, so that they can continue their livelihood.
Okay. So what was the result of that PIL?
Sir, still pending, sir.
It's still pending.
Yes, sir. So those are in the Supreme Court. We have also raised an alternative plea. So that, if I may name the title of the petition, it is Western Pakistan
Yes, okay.
Refugee Action Group. Then in the Supreme Court, they have given some relief ultimately in 2016, sir.
It's in 2016. Okay. Tell me now a basic thing, which intrigues me a lot.
Yes, sir.
How the laws ultimately came into existence.
So laws in terms of legislations.
All these laws, X law, Y law, Z law.
So if I may say in the formal terms,
Formal
in the formal
terms.
institutions, then from the initiation of cabinet, then cabinet.
No. This is the procedure of making a law.
Yes, sir.
I am saying the concept of law. Why law was brought into the society?
Yes, sir. Sir, laws, when these questions were also told in our classes as well when we were studying there, how the law has been arrived. So, sir, law, we were told that it's the accretion or accumulation of certain kind of customs or very rudimentary level when people were following certain rules and regulation to regulate their conduct of the life, then it has now converted into law. And when it has gained the...
No, but suppose someone is not following, suppose in a society, some people are not following certain
Yes.
things. So society isolates that person.
Yes, sir.
You start avoiding that person, you don't interact with them, with that, and you don't even call that person to your functions, etc.
It happens, sir.
So what is the thing which is being broken now?
Sir, that the social etiquettes.
Not etiquettes, social ethics.
Social ethics, sir. I stand corrected.
Etiquettes don't make any difference here. Ethics.
Yes.
So okay, now ethics. If you don't follow the ethics, you are isolated first stage,
Yes.
and then.
So then society will exile you, and you may have certain social sanctions as well, that they will not interact with you
So
anymore.
how come the laws come in picture?
So laws, there are, if we take this instance, then there are certain externment laws are there. If suppose you are indulging, if in a society, Maharashtra have one kind of law. If you are indulging in irreligious
No, all these laws, IPC, CIPC, everything is based on the same principle which we are talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what is that principle? So what happens once you don't follow the ethics, social ethics, then?
Sir, then these law which has been formulated by some legislation. Sir, I may not be getting the point of reasoning, sir, which you are talking about. But however, sir, if I may try, then the social legitimacy which has been given through the institution which human has built, then this kind of social sanction convert into penal provisions.
It means when that person, you are not even able to mend by isolation or other methods, if that failed at that time,
Yes, sir.
then there was a system created that this person should be punished.
Yes, sir.
This was the birth of law,
Yes, sir. These are
that
criminal
this person should be punished, and that's how all these laws
Thank you.
came into the picture. So the basic equation: morals, they make ethics. After observation of the period of 50 years, 100 years, when we consider that these type of actions and moral values are good for the society, they become ethics,
Yes.
and then everyone has to follow the ethics. If someone does not follow, he is isolated. If he's not, if even then he is not being meant, then we take him to the court for punishment. This is the real initial,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you.
So Rishabh, now in the courts, from lowest courts to Supreme Court, large number of cases are pending, and the pendency is mounting every day and every month and every year. Now, what is the solution that comes to your mind to remedy it?
Yes, sir. Sir, if I may give the insider view of because
Yes,
sir,
I am asking you because you are working there.
yes, sir, I will give insider view. Sir, it happens so, sir. There are around 4 crore cases are pending.
Yes.
70,000 cases are pending in the Supreme Court itself. And sir,
Yeah, leave
and
those
sir,
figures.
yes, sir. Sir, when we are practicing there, registry takes certain time to even list the matters because there is absence of scientific case management. Even when you institute a case, then it gets time to even list the matter in the bench of the Supreme Court. And certain time it happens, so there are certain defects which has been raised in the petition itself. So, sir, this is one of the thing which we want to expedite within the fold of the courts. And sir, on the larger aspect, there are certain pendencies in the case, the speedy institution of cases are there. And population are rising, so litigious society we have been becoming increasingly. So litigations are increasing, but the rate of disposal is very low because of, and this is happening because there is lack of infrastructure. If I may take the illustration, even tribunals are not even instituted. Cyber appellate tribunal was envisaged under the IT Act. It has not been constituted yet. So arrears of cases are rising. Infrastructure is lacking. Judges not being.
Well, we can talk about tribunals, but yes, yeah, go on.
Yes, sir, judges are not being appointed at the proper time, and scientific case management is lacking. Even there is lack of involvement of ICT, that is information and communication technology, in the resolution or decision of the cases. So, sir, these are broad points why dependency are rising.
You just mentioned about speedy disposal. What can be done to increase the speed of disposal?
Yes, sir.
Because to my mind, the speed of disposal is the crux of the whole problem.
So it has been the mandate of justice system to decide the case swiftly. At the same time, do not compromise the quality of justice. And even legislature has taken the step, just like in CPC, they have decided a timeline. But through the interpretative process, what court
In
has
all
done,
the
they have-
laws, there are some timelines, but timelines are not observed by the
Yes, sir.
courts
happens.
themselves.
Yes, sir. So a judge has to be very conscious not to give the adjournments again and again. When lawyers are asking adjournment, they have been
As a
freely
lawyer,
given.
how many times do you ask for
Sir,
adjournments?
I have appeared before the honorable court around 20 to 25 times. Only 3 times I got the adjournment. Court is very strict about decision of the cases, at least the Delhi High Court as well as the Supreme Court. So they are very stern. Now the case
Maybe
is being
because
seen
you
by
are a
the-
young lawyer,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Because sir, my senior counsel has directed me to get the pass over because he was engaged in another matter.
Okay.
So at that point of time, only matter was of admission rather than arguing the case.
But no, the most important thing is how to increase the speed of disposal of the cases. How to cut short the procedures.
Yes,
Because procedural delays are also too many.
yes, sir. Sir, we can go for alternative dispute
Well,
resolution.
think about it later, maybe.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Rishabh, tell me, why do you want to join civil service after having such a experience of law and a successful lawyer working with the Supreme Court with all these experiences? Why do you want to join civil service?
So there are natural factors which comes with civil services by the nature of the service itself, that we get the opportunity to work from policy implementation till policy formulation, that the point of contact would be larger. In my case, sir, the point of contact is limited only to the litigants. However, when I will be getting the opportunity to join the civil services, my point of contact would be larger. And
It can't be more than 4 crore. 4 crore cases pending. You have so much scope to
yes, sir.
have contacts all around the country.
So as far as what I have seen and what I have observed, civil servant has larger scope. He or she can touch larger life than a lawyer can, because he has behind him or she has behind him the authority of law, full force of law. And law is molded better to enlarge the purpose and welfare what has been mandated through the processes of law. Then a lawyer, if gets the opportunity to work as a civil servant, then I think nothing could be much better than, if I may be biased, in my favor.
Okay. Now, for example, my house and your house are next to each other. I have a tree in my house. The leaves of the tree and the fruits fall on your side of the house. And after eating the fruit of that tree, one of your dogs die. What kind of law would apply?
So may I take a while, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, it comes in the domain of law of torts. First thing which comes in my mind, when your tree is interfering in the enjoyment of my property, that is a poisonous tree, as you mentioned, then it is a pure case of trespass. My dog has jumped or had allured towards that tree, and by nibbling the leaves of the fruits of the tree, he died. Then I may bring the claim of trespass against the property which is interfering in my property. And the second case would be the cause of action would be the unreasonable interference in my property, because I'm not able to enjoy my property. So therefore, two broad claims would be there. First is of trespassing the property, and then the nuisance.
Okay, thank you. Now you have done some research on internet censorship in Islamic countries. What are your research findings?
Sir, it was a research paper which got published in Oxford University Press. And sir, what I did was had the comparative analysis of censorship of the different countries. So how much censorship are there in Islamic countries vis-a-vis India and vis-a-vis USA? So my observation, if I may say, the final conclusion was India has larger freedom of expression. The scope is larger as compared to USA, and Islamic countries have worse form of internet freedom there.
So the freedom in India is larger than even compared to US.
Yes, sir. Sir, may I say the reason behind it?
Yes.
Sir, because sir, in USA they have the regulatory architecture put in place, so they are more intrusive in identifying what are the breaches in the law. If it is spilling over as a public disorder, they directly nip in the bud by taking it down. Even the US president, while tweeting something on Twitter, his account was blocked, and even still he is fighting that his account should be opened. So, sir, what my research paper was that in Islamic countries, certain kind of internet has to be following the Shariat law. Even they put some bugs, some filters that, if I may take the illustration, in Saudi Arabia, secularism word is banned. You cannot even utter secularism on net on the street as well, and the punishment will be given is a gross punishment. Even they cut your tongue also. So this kind of internet freedom or on the street as well is completely.
Then why do the people in India complain that there's a lot of censorship on press and media?
It seems to me very, I would say, I do not want to use the word, but hypocritical. Those who are crying for the freedom of speech, they are the ones who are using the freedom of speech very much, sir. However, sir, in the real scenario, there are apprehensions that government are formulating some laws which are intrusive enough to take down. For example, sir, digital media rules are formed. So it has been given the mandate that every internet service provider has to formulate and appoint certain kind of officers, such as nodal officers, grievance officers, and they have challenged the rule that you cannot do it. But however, when it comes to jurisdiction of USA, they are completely complying with the law. So it is hypocritical on their part. Also,
okay. Thank you so much.
Rishabh, you just now mentioned high pendency of cases in Supreme Court, 4 crores plus,
Yes.
and 70,000 are pending before Supreme Court alone. What are the causes for these pendency?
Of mounting cases?
Mounting.
Yes, sir. So, sir, first case is that legal awareness is increasing.
Legal
Awareness is increasing amongst the people, because largely we were still, sir, I believe we are tolerant society. However, with the rise of legal awareness, state is taking steps such as legal inclusions and legal service authority has been constituted. So people are filing the
Is
cases.
it legal awareness lacking, or we are growing highly litigious in nature?
Yes, sir. We are growing, sir, litigious society.
You see, the government wants to help the Supreme Court by there are large number of vacancies, but the judges of Supreme Court are not, unanimous about this selection, because they are governed by what you call
Collusion.
collegium system,
Yes, sir.
whereas it should be replaced by
Yes, sir.
NJAC, National Judicial Appointment Commission.
Yes, sir.
Why the Supreme Court is not allowing this?
So it has the history goes certain kind of inception. It has particular history, because when emergency was imposed, certain chief justices or the justices of the Supreme Court were being elevated, superseding certain other judges. And sir, if I may bring one statement, that judges with social philosophy was told, because a judge is believed to be not to have certain kind of philosophy, but the government was appointing certain kind of judges who were having certain inclination toward the government. So in order to insulate the judiciary from the unnecessary executive interference, this kind of collegium system was conceived by the Honorable Supreme Court.
Okay. My next question is about you're helping the marginalized sections of
Yes.
society,
Yes.
including refugees from Pakistan.
Yes, sir.
Do you serve them pro bono, or you charge fees for that?
Yes, sir. We have served them pro bono. Sir, I would not like to take the credit of other persons who were also involved with me. Sir, we were working in NGO, and I was leading them. So we have filed the PIL, and NGO work was totally free, and still we are overseeing that.
Next question is that there was a proposal some time back about allowing the foreign law firms to practice in India.
Yes, sir.
Why did you oppose it? All lawyers in the country opposed it.
Yes, sir. In my personal opinion, it should not have happened, because as far as the market philosophy goes of liberty and libertarianism, because ultimately litigants are suffering. If they are getting cheaper service of higher quality, then they should be getting it. Sir, however, we had the apprehension sometime that certain law firms are coming and they were becoming the fly-by-night companies. What they are doing, that they are setting up their companies are here, and they are having the corporate outlook, and this corporate outlook only for the profit purposes, and they in the very next day when they get the money from the client, and they flew away. So we had the apprehension that they should be registered here and they should work here after.
Did they oppose the registration?
Sir,
They did
legislation.
not oppose the registration.
Sir, who, sir?
The foreign firms did not oppose the idea of registering themselves with the.
Sir, this case is a case of AK Balaji is still pending in Supreme Court, and the regulation which was conceived by the BCI, that they have challenged it, that we should not impose certain kind of unreasonable restriction.
Okay.
So,
We often talk about the Constitution Bench of Supreme Court. How large is the Constitution Bench? Does it include all the 30 judges, or a part of them?
Sir, Constitution Bench has certain hues and colors in terms of composition. 5 judges bench are there, 9 judge bench are there, 7 judges, 11 judges, and largest have ever been constituted was Keshwanand Bharti judgment of 13 judges.
13 judges.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Always odd number.
Always odd number, so that there should
Tie
be
or
one swing
anything.
vote should be.
Yes. Acha, and just one last question.
Yes.
Supreme Court considers themselves as supreme,
Yes.
and the Parliament considers itself as sovereign.
Yes. Yes, sir.
How do we reconcile their differences?
Apparent contradiction is there, sir. That Parliament, because ultimately final arbiter of the interpretation of the Constitution is Supreme Court. But Parliament, if we say that sovereign is its own sphere, that the taxation power should be with Parliament. However, there have been complaints from the Parliament itself that last of the power we have the taxation power. When Supreme Court is taking the decision, that now we are imposing environmental clearance charge, and this taxation power is taken up by the Supreme Court.
Yes.
It should not have been done. Therefore, sir, our honorable Prime Minister in one of the speeches has said that we are all the children of the Constitution. We all, that means sir, executive, legislature, and the Parliament. So therefore, by getting into loggerheads, we should not do it. We should act as a statesman and have some vision towards the welfare of the society.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Rishabh, freedom of speech is enshrined under which provision?
Of the Constitution, ma'am, Article 19, Clause 1 and Subclause A.
So, when we talk of freedom of press, is it directly included in this, or it is a derived thing?
Ma'am, it has not been expressly mentioned in the Constitution, but it has been said in the Constituent Assembly that the right of a citizen should be, or the press should be at par with each other. However, in the USA Constitution, it has been given specific mention in the Constitution. In India, it is equal.
Now, women have been given an equal right for voting, but inheritance laws have not been equal for women. Why so?
Yes, ma'am, this has been the tragedy of India, that women being an equal participant in the society, however, they have been discriminated in the succession laws. They should be given, and we are seeing the progressively that legislations are alive to the living realities, because women groups and women NGOs are fighting, if not
Not
legislature
only
respond.
women, even men are fighting with them.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is the latest amendment in inheritance laws?
It was done in 2006 of Hindu Succession Act. Ma'am,
2005.
yes, ma'am, I stand corrected, ma'am. Maybe I am saying the enforcement date.
Enforcement date is also 2005.
Okay.
9/9.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, it was done in 2005 to give the equal co-partial right to the woman, or I should say specifically daughter. Even right now, brides are excluded in getting the property.
Okay. Now, do you agree if I say there are many legal loopholes, and the actual culprit finds it easy to escape from law?
May I take a while?
Yeah, please.
The first illustration which comes in my mind, that criminals are finding loopholes when they are escaping the jurisdiction of the country. That if I take the example of those culprits, Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi, because we do not have specific mutual legal assistance treaties, though we have extradition laws, but the cooperation between the countries are still lacking. Therefore, there are certainly loopholes are in the laws, because on the implementation side, powers are less conferred on the executive, because we do not have the cooperation treaty with UK. There is lacking of standard operating procedure as well as the guidelines how the executive should nab them. However, ma'am, in Parliament we have enacted various laws such as Black Money Act, Fugitive Economic Offenders Act to nab those criminals.
Okay. My last question. If a judge is found guilty, can he be impeached? Who can impeach him? And have there been instances in India?
He or she should be impeached.
Should they?
And yes,
I'm just looking at history. Have
yes,
there
history
been?
has been there. 2 instances were there, but that were failed instances, because before the impeachment got done, they
Resigned.
have resigned.
No. In the other case, he did not resign. Justice Ramaswamy.
This is V. Ramaswamy. The V. Ramaswamy case was filed in the Supreme Court, and even Parliament has taken, because he was involved in a conversion of a private public trust into the private property. So,
Because the majority was not there. 2/3 majority was not there, which is required. But in the case of the Calcutta High Court,
Justice Soumitra Sen was
Yeah.
there, so he also resigned before. Even he did not present himself in the Lok Sabha. However,
no, he presented himself.
Ma'am,
He
in the
came
Rajya Sabha.
before. No, he came before. But there was only a debate. He never deposed before the High Court, before the Parliament. Yeah. And it just fell through.
Yes,
There have been 2 other cases. Also.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and we shall just call you back.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Rishabh.
Yes.
So, how are you feeling about your interview? कब है?
Sir, 10th paper, sir.
10 minutes. No, it's very close.
Yes, sir.
So, what is your mental status?
Sir, I am fine because right now, before this interview or personality test, I was coming directly from Supreme Court. So they were grilling me before it.
Oh.
I was ready to be grilled. But no, sir, it was very cordial interview.
Okay.
Who was grilling you in the Supreme Court?
Justice Seema Kohli,
Acha.
Honorable Justice Seema Kohli.
Okay. And what was the matter?
No, it was a pension matter. मैं पास ओवर लेने के लिए कैसे बिकॉज ऑफ वो सीनियर काउंसिल इन्वॉल्व है दूसरे बेंच में तो इशू हो जाता है बिकॉज मैम आई एम रेयरली इट हैपेंस विद मी दैट आई एम अलाउड टू आर्ग्यू
Naturally, you are too young. I know.
But you've just been there for 4 months.
Where in Supreme Court?
Supreme Court.
Ma'am, it has been written I was there in 4 months because I was involved in some other organizations. Though I was fragmentedly was associated with my fraternity. Reason being, ma'am, because if I'm working in an organization, we have to surrender the license if I'm in a permanent role.
Okay.
Though, ma'am, I am.
Actually, just tell me one thing. This one
Okay,
thing.
So lies.
Ma'am,
Yes.
lies in terms of, ma'am?
You said you have to surrender your license, but
I did, ma'am.
Acha, you have surrendered, so you're not practicing.
Ma'am,
Then
now,
how were you appearing today?
ma'am,
No, when he was serving in the private organization or any other organization, then he had to surrender. He surrendered. So
Ah.
when he came back to the profession, he got it back.
yes, ma'am.
He-
No, I would not dare to, ma'am.
No. Till 2011-21 you were practicing as per the form.
Yes.
And after that?
Ma'am, after that there was mains examination I had, so
Ah.
I told them.
So you're not currently
हाँ,
licensed.
हाँ. Ma'am, I am licensed.
You are
ma'am.
licensed.
But I have written emphatically or expressly there that after that I have stopped. But after the mains got over, I re-issued.
You have.
Yes.
Okay.
ma'am.
Got your license back.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
अच्छा चलिए ये बताओ. You have written legal content creator from 15/9/2021 to 15/5/2000. ये क्या है?
सर ये थोड़ा सा उल्टा हो गया.
अच्छा.
मुझे अदर वे राउंड लिखना चाहिए था.
Okay. Okay. So the board is of the opinion that you are excellent candidate.
Thank you.
Okay. You have all the qualities which are required to get success with flying colors in the interview. Rest assured that you will be doing very well. When is the interview?
Sir, 10th May, sir.
10th May. So now just relax and go through the newspapers.
Yes, sir.
And don't involve yourself in many mock interviews. Don't try to get gratification by the praise which will be showered on you. So there is
This
no
is my
need.
last.
There is no need of doing that. So you sit at your home, go through the newspapers, some current events which are happening, make notes on those important events which are happening on single A4 size paper. You take it, you note it down, and write everything. But now there are few small things, very very small. We don't consider many things to be told to you, which we tell to other candidates, but to you, we tell you that sometimes you become slightly informal.
Yes, sir. I also I should not have been, but formulation of the word it comes out that.
So it means you are very good at speaking and otherwise, but in interview, think a bit,
Yes.
give a pause, and then give your answer. Because we did not feel bad, but there might be someone who will feel bad. That why is trying to laugh and include us into that laughter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mind.
This is the feeling which we got.
Yes, sir.
Those points were valid, but the way that those points were expressed, they were creating very informal type of
Yes,
behavior
sir.
from your side.
I mind.
So this should be avoided
Yes, sir.
in interview.
May I know the instances when I said that all the on freedom of expression point?
There are 2-3 points
Yes.
when you laughed.
Yes, sir.
So you should
The last time it happened was that I was trying to bring my laugh to the fore. I was struggling to bring it, but
Yeah.
this time around that
Because this depends on board, how comfortable you are, how comfortable you are brought in the situation of this sort. But you should continue smiling as you are doing. There is difference in laughter and smile.
Yes,
You continue smiling as you are doing. Continue looking at all the members as you are presently doing. But don't fall in that thing.
yes, sir.
Otherwise,
I
इतना अच्छा करने के बाद, इतना अच्छा knowledge होने के बाद, इतना अच्छा argumentation होने के बाद भी, you may miss the chance unnecessarily.
definitely.
Yeah, only just a small thing and you will miss. क्या फायदा? How have you done your GS3?
So GS3, I completed the paper. First thing was because this is my third main first interview.
हाँ
So my first purpose was this time around, I have to complete the paper.
हाँ
In my first attempt, I was in college. In my second attempt, I was doing the post graduation.
हाँ.
I was not getting the time to write. But this time around,
So
as far as
what technique
method-
did you adopt? Did you write point wise answers or what?
So mixed. But I use schemas, flow charts, diagrams as far as possible.
हाँ
In order
use
to
किया ना
get-
उनको बहुत सारा.
Yes, sir.
Flow charts use किया ना
Yes,
वो.
sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ
Yes.
वो they give you very high marks.
सर मैंने पेट्रोलियम का आया था GS1 में, उसमें बनाया है। जहाँ तक से पॉसिबल था, एथिक्स में भी बनाया है।
एथिक्स तो बनाया है.
बस सर,
एथिक्स
एक
में
मिनट
कौन सा
ऐसे-
बनाया?
सर एथिक्स में एटीट्यूड का बनाया है।
बनाया था?
यस सर,
Good.
एटीट्यूड में सर्कुलर
हाँ,
सर्कल
हाँ,
इनपुट एटीट्यूड बिहेवियर
हाँ हाँ
कंडक्ट
हाँ हाँ वाला बनाया
तो
होगा.
सर इस तरीके से जितने में पॉसिबल था सर।
गुड गुड गुड.
बिकॉज सर माय राइटिंग इज स्लो, आई इवन दिस थिंग दैट छाला भी पढ़ा हुआ है अभी तक।
हाँ
तो आई थॉट कि हाउ कैन आई कंपनसेट विद दिस स्पेस, तो वो सर वो तरीका सही लगा।
नहीं ठीक किया आपने, बहुत अच्छा तरीका किया. एंड GS4 में
Sir, I completed the paper first thing,
Yeah.
And sir, there were two questions of because sir, I should not cast the burden on the examiner, but sir, the point is when I was sitting, I was the last, but he was distributing the paper, if I may say, that I was getting the paper in the last, but he was snatching the paper away from me in the first.
फर्स्ट.
तो सर वो 3 मिनट बहुत होता है।
हाँ वो एंड में बहुत होता है. हाँ
इकोसिस्टम की जगह फिलो लगा दिया उसने।
हाँ
अकाउंटिंग में
हाँ.
तो सर उसमें इशू होता है क्योंकि सर पूरा क्लब टाइमिंग का हो गया है।
और उसमें कैसा किया, जो थर्ड फोर्थ क्वेश्चन था इसमें विवेकानंद और उनके स्टेटमेंट आए थे, कोट्स आए थे, उसको किया था अच्छा
हाँ,
था.
समझाया था।
हाँ.
और जो सर पेपर था पहला, जैसे मैं लिख रहा था कोचिंग में, तो मैं क्या करता था कि उसको समझाता था। बट मैंने दूसरी इलस्ट्रेशन, जैसे सर कई IAS ऑफिसर से जो काम कर रहे हैं, जैसे दरित नारायण सर्विंग दी शिवा इज सर्विंग दी आई एम नॉट गेटिंग दिस पॉइंट, serving the Shiva is serving the gods or something like that. Vivekananda started. So I tried to use that and then giving the substantiation of it. Because सर क्या होता था, मैं समझाता जाता था, थ्योरी हो जाती थी। तो सर एथिक्स में ये पता चला कि प्रैक्टिकलिटी में आपको एग्जांपल्स बहुत देने हैं।
एग्जाम्पल देने होते हैं.
तो मैंने सर एग्जांपल्स भर के यूज किए हैं।
एग्जाम्पल बहुत जरूरी होता है. ऐसे
सर ऐसे बहुत अच्छा गया, क्योंकि सर UPSC का मैंने एक चीज देखा है कि जब पहला पेपर ये बहुत सरल दे देंगे, फिर बाद में कठिन कर देंगे साइकोलॉजी से खेलने के लिए। तो सर इस बार ओमिक्रॉन भी चल रहा था, तो उसकी वजह से बच्चे कम आए। फिर सर जो ऐसे चालू हुआ तो उसके बाद बच्चे डाउन हुए कॉन्फिडेंस में काफी। तो जिनसे मैंने कॉन्टेक्ट किया फिर वो देने नहीं आए। दे शुड नॉट, हारना नहीं चाहिए सर, क्योंकि वो मेंटल टेस्ट ही चेक कर रहे हैं UPSC वाले। तो मेरा ऐसे सर अच्छा गया। मैंने दोनों ऐसे, एक तो परसेप्शन रिफ्लेक्शन रिएक्शन वाला था,
समझ गया था वही क्या होगा
सर, क्योंकि इसमें वर्ड्स बहुत थे तो खेला जा सकता था। और दूसरा था सर एक रियलिटी, सर रिसर्च बट इट इज अ ब्लाइंडेड विद नॉलेज।
यस हाँ टेक्नोलॉजी वाला
सर टेक्नोलॉजी सर दूसरा था आउटसोर्स
वाला था. हाँ
सर मैंने 2 ये किए थे। बट और मैं सर फ्री फ्लो में लिखता हूँ, उसमें नहीं स्ट्रक्चर नहीं बना पाता ज्यादा, तो फ्री फ्लो में लिखा था और कोटेशंस यूज की थी, जितना हो सकता था मैंने सर किया।
सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात जो आप बताया आपने, you gave lot of examples and quotations. That's very important for civil service examination.
But sir I am, because sir last मेंस में मेरे 20 नंबर कम हो जाते थे हर बार मेंस में, मतलब इंटरव्यू में अपीयर होने के लिए। And this time around when people were asking me क्या डिफरेंट किया, लिखा बहुत है इस बार सर,
लिखा बहुत है,
बहुत लिखा है सर इस बार। And still sir अगर I am sir, there is a reasonable issue should be that I may also not get enter into the final list. तो मैं तो यही बोलूंगा कि मैं फिर से लगूंगा एक बार, बट पता नहीं है सर UPSC कहती होगा कि नहीं होगा। एंड सर इससे सीखने को बहुत मिला 3-4 साल से जो एक्सपीरियंस रहा मेरा, कि आउट मतलब आई एम नॉट दैट सीरियस अबाउट द एग्जामिनेशन बट आई एम सिंसियर इन माय प्रिपरेशन।
ओके,
नहीं होना चाहिए सीरियस, सिंसियरली तैयारी
करना चाहिए। गुड, एनीथिंग यू वांट टू आस्क?
Sir, nothing sir.
From our side also there is
Sir,
nothing much.
How to sir iron out the, if I have I been offending?
No, never.
Sir, in terms of body language, humility.
Body language is very congenial, you know, oozing out with energy. That's what we want in the interview. In the main interview, we want the energy should be visible, and that energy is there in you.
Sir, because I did some mistakes, as ma'am has pointed out, as we have also observed. So they will take adversely.
No, that's fine. 2006, 2005, that's
ये
okay.
कुछ नहीं, कुछ इन सब चीजों कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Very clerical mistakes, nothing.
No, but how do you explain 21 onwards?
21 onwards in terms of practice.
No. What you have said is that only for these few months you were with the Supreme Court. That you're saying you were arguing today. So that doesn't kind of add up.
Yes sir. Yes ma'am. मैम वो मेंस के पहले मैंने इसलिए लिखा था कि मेंस तक के पहले मैंने बंद कर दिया था तो मेंस देने गया था and I will say that after completing my मेंस I am
Yeah. Do clarify that because otherwise it sends a wrong
Ma'am, if
signal.
I may ask that right from very beginning I have to clarify or when
नहीं
I
नहीं
get the
बस
opportunity
केवल बस
to
वही
clarify.
No, you don't have to clarify on your own. बस
If
ये
it is asked, then add that after my completing my means, I have taken it up again.
otherwise never commit this mistake. Never.
I won't add any new.
No, nothing. You should not do
say on
anything.
your own.
If they ask, then give the clarification. Otherwise, no need of even hinting on it.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because remember it, integrity is the topmost quality which is examined during in the interview. है ना? उसमें कहीं डाउट क्रिएट नहीं होने देना चाहिए. इसलिए ट्रुथफुल रहो, सही रहो और जो किया है वो सच्चाई से किया है तो सच्चाई में रहो. बट जब वो पूछे जब बताओ. ठीक है? ऑल द बेस्ट.
ये मिस्टेक आपकी गलत हो गई 40 और 150.
हाँ वाले कोई बात नहीं.
इसको ध्यान रखना.
ये नहीं कोई पूछेगा तनख्वाह उनका का कोई नहीं पूछने वाला. बट और चीजें करो बढ़
जैसे
जाए.
हाँ सर 6 महीने के लिए जॉब किया था मैंने
हाँ.
लॉ फर्म में, फिर छोड़ दिया था
हाँ चलो कोई.
क्योंकि मैं पैसे की गुस्सा चला जा रहा था, मुझे सिविल सर्विस में जाना था.
हाँ, ठीक.
थैंक यू.
ऑल द बेस्ट. ऑल द बेस्ट.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.